we're back to square one. Only one map left to decide which team is going to be heading into that grand final. But before we do so, we got to break down Ascent, because you know what, coming into this Bazooka, you said on that first map that we've seen from the side of Shopify Rebellion, there were mistakes that we've never seen them make before. But this time around, I mean, when I say they came out swinging, I feel like that's a little bit of an understatement.
I mean, it's the same team that played the Breeze. We saw it today. Like, it looked like a totally different team.
Absolutely.
On adaptions, like team adaptions, and even individually rounds. There were some rounds were behind. Even on the bonus round, the 2-0 round, there was a huge thing going on. There about getting the Chaos Knife from them. They lost all information, they lost the position, the opportunity to just push an A, and it was everything wrong for them, and they just were able to get some kills.
Another detail that we could see just in the screen is also those first kills, right? It was 9-7 across all 16 rounds. So that means that in 4 of them, G2 were unable to convert that 5-4 situation, and most of the times it was because in Shopify's plan, it was also a possibility that the refrag was going to be there. They were always playing in pairs, and as you're saying, is a lot more comfortable. They definitely knew exactly what they wanted to execute on in this Ascent, and you know, if they want to take this serious, they definitely need to do it on Sunset.
Yeah, there's one map left, and I think something to highlight here is the fact that coming into this, we've very much talked a lot about the duelists. The duelists always get a lot of love, but I also want to look at more of the support players and how well they've been doing. Specifically, when we've been looking at Sarah and Alexis, their utility has really set up the rest of the team of success. I mean, you were absolutely going crazy over that Sova dart, but you know, cannot take away from the KO either.
Yeah, and something I'm gonna point out as well is like the draft for this map.
Yeah.
Okay. G2 choose Breeze.
Yes.
They wrecked Shopify on Breeze.
Yes.
Shopify choose Ascent. They wrecked G2 on Ascent. And now we have a decider. So it's a neutral map. So now it's the moment where they need to show themselves.
And it's so important to talk about also how neutral that is going to be. I think that Sarah and Alexis probably are going under the radar a little bit, because I know that everybody was, you know, very looking forward to seeing how Flora is going to do on that international stage. Definitely Mel coming back. But I think that these are two players, especially Alexis. I loved her last year. So seeing that she's keeping up that level and the impact that she can have in the game, definitely shout out to those initiators. But going back to that conversation that we were having about the maps, we were talking about G2 being the surprise, changing everything every single day. Now, with this map that we just witnessed, they have played all the 7 maps in the map pool in the competition. So now, this Sunset is the first time that they're going to be playing a map once. So all that preparation, all that phase of surprise that they wanted to bring is, let's say, over, right? Because come on, it was a month and a half. It wasn't more, was it? I don't even know how they managed to do all of those things in such little time.
100 scrims in 5 weeks. I'm not good at math, so I'm not gonna try it. But that's a lot of games that they had to play every single day.
Yeah, exactly. So now when we're talking about the preparation and coming ready into the tournament, I think that probably Shopify is going to have the upper hand here.
Yeah, and Shopify showed a really good Sunset against EDG.
Yeah.
This time of the tournament. So it's a map where, similar to Ascent, where they showed comfortable before. So maybe Breeze is a map they just don't like it. They just don't
probably didn't expect it.
Yeah. It's not only the fact that
Ascent, who's gonna ban Ascent? Who's gonna ban Ascent? So obviously I can understand that they did not expect the Breeze.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just the fact that they showed a really good Sunset against EDG Kukuka, it's also the fact that when we saw them play against BBL, one thing that surprised us the most was how much homework and how many counter strats they had ready on the fly.
Yeah.
So going back to your point where they've already seen Sunset from G2,
yeah.
I can only expect greatness.
Yeah, also, but you need to think about how you're going to feel inside the server. I understand, and we've discussed how probably BBL's situation is a little bit different. Come on, Filippo was playing alone on stage today. Like there are so many excuses that we can make for them. For G2, you know that they want it just as much as you do, and this is going to be a fight of the equals. And by the way, talking about that mental, the fact that they were in a 12-2 situation, and Petra was celebrating every single kill like it was the first one. You know, this is the G2 that needs to be there, especially for right now, who we're seeing on the screen for Sarah, you know, just coming in to this big stage, you know, being part of the team for a long time. She needs to feel that even when they lose, they can still have fun, they can still, you know, celebrate the small wins.
Yeah, and that's also something that at the end of the day we've heard during a lot of the interviews here at Game Changers Championship Bazooka was the fact that confidence and mentality has always been something that coaches, players continuously go to and mention that they are some of the biggest and most leading factors in closing out these games. So looking at G2 Gozen right now and how unfortunately this map went for them, a 13-3 loss, it's not easy to digest.
No, it's not easy at all to face a match like this after those kind of situations happening. But at the same time, G2 is a very experienced team.
Yeah.
They have some great leaderships in the team, even in the work of their staff, of the coach, the psychologist, everyone behind. Right now, it's the moment where they just need to talk and just restart, just like Shopify Rebellion did in the last map.
Yeah.
They were able to restart the mindset, how they were thinking, how they were approaching the game, and that's now that you should turn to do it. But the momentum is very important during a series like that as well. So the momentum now is with North America.
Yeah, when we're talking about the momentum is swinging heavily in favor of Shopify Rebellion. And it also means that, they're feeling it. We've seen some of their player reaction cameras, Kakuka, and they were just not just in the zone, but they were having fun. And you said it yourself, that's one of the most important factors here.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was kind of surprised because I feel like we still haven't seen the Mel that we saw last year just going crazy at their opponents. But this is a Mel that probably doesn't need that anymore. And also, again, the situation is like, just imagine that you're playing against BBL and there's only like 3 players on the other side.
Yeah,
you're not gonna scream at them.
Yeah, that's not gonna feel great.
But seriously, I think that this match is so important for them. Because of the resemblance that it has with last year, and it shows the progression and in the careers of all of these players. So I think that today there's something different at stake.
Yeah, it's not just the fact that you're winning a spot in the grand final. What's at stake is your pride. You're showing them that the last year that we've had, they've been working hard on bettering themselves in every aspect possible. We've seen it from the side of G2 Gozen with 100 scrims played in 5 weeks. Is that realistic even?
I mean, if you play 100 scrim in 1 month, you need to drop a lot of VOD reveals, strats, time with your team. So it must have been really hard for them to actually understand how to adapt the strats and also get a lot of game time. But at the other side as well, like G2 is on fire. They're playing very good individually. They do have some bad games. It happens to everyone. But right now, if they can put the work they did on Breeze, on Sunset now, individually, getting the shots, especially Petra getting the first kills, that's something that they're getting a lot of games, a lot of scrims, a lot of practice helps a lot.
Yeah, especially when we're looking at G2 and how much practice they've put into this. I think definitely something to look forward to, and Mimi coming out on top as well in that new role of an IGL. When we're comparing her this time around to Mel and how her performance has been, I think Mel has really excelled at some of these mid-round calls that we've seen, especially on Ascent. But Mimi is still always a building block, something that G2 goes and can fall back on when things aren't going that well.
But we also have to say that, she has to face this defeat, this map defeat, a little bit different than the other day, because this wasn't a close defeat. This wasn't, something that went wrong. Maybe, you lose track of the economy just because of some rounds that you misinvest or you don't save the guns or whatever, some mistakes that you make. Here, you got stopped and you have to deal with it mentally. And now Mimi has to prove that she has learned in this month and a little bit how to actually have that mental capability. We also know that she's with the rest of her teammates and they're not new to the situation. But, it definitely is going to be a different test for her.
Yeah, but also coming with that, G2 Gozen is no stranger to a loss. I mean, Series 3 for EMEA might not have gone their way. Didn't come out on top. Yes, the first team to qualify based off of their successes during Series 1 and Series 2. When we're looking at Shopify Rebellion themselves, they have had an incredible year. We can't take away from that. We said it last time that the first map this time around, Breeze, was the first 1 out of 5 maps. Well, not the first, the last 1 out of 5 maps that they've lost. So for them potentially dealing with that loss, we had a lot of questions about it, but it proven that they can bounce back. But can they keep that momentum, and can they potentially not get a little too overconfident?
Yeah, definitely. And Sunset is a map where both teams had already played, so they're going to study each other. But it's also a very new map to the map pool.
Totally.
So there's ton of space for everyone to even change comps, try different strats, and try to make things different.
Yeah, and the other day when we were seeing G2 Gozen playing against Liquid, I remember a lot of the proactivity that they were having round after round. And just because it is a new map and it is a new opponent and all of these things are converging together, you can allow yourself to do that. And it was actually giving them a lot of freedom, you know, sending Mimi with someone else onto mid, you know, just supporting Petra into getting into those positions to have that kind of impact. I don't think that Shopify is the kind of team that is going to allow you to do that, because they're not only going to be prepared, they're always going to be responding to that.
And when we're looking at the responses from both of these teams, they have been phenomenal. So at the end of the day, that also throws a lot of questions in. How is the next map going to be approached? Because when we had an interview earlier with Effys, he did mention that they're looking at securing those pistol rounds. And that's exactly what they've done. And they were able to build the momentum off of that. They're able to snowball it. But from G2 Gozen, are we expecting them to have the exact same strategy?
I mean, they need to change the strategies. They need to change everything, because I'm 100% sure they were studied. The other team knows everything they like to do on the map. They know their tendencies, what kind of game plan they have. So they do need to change a lot of things, and that's where it holds a lot of the EGL on Mel and Mini about adapting and going on the flow with the game. Because every different map you play, you may play the same map 100 times.
Yeah.
Every time it's gonna feel a different flow.
And the different flow. I mean, the flow of the bracket this time around is also something to be looking at, because really highlighting that whoever wins this matchup between G2 Gozen and Shopify Rebellion will be the first team to qualify for the grand final here at Champions Game Changers 2023. The loser is going to have to drop to the lower bracket, and they're going to be up against the winner of Team Liquid or SMG, which means that, you know, you don't get that one day off where you can just sit back, relax, and watch what the rest are doing.
This is my favorite event of the year, and I cannot believe that there's only 2 days left already. You know,
Time flies when you're having fun.
Right now, as we're looking at Shopify and G2 Gozen, now they have secured that minimum third position. But let's be honest, none of these teams, none of these wonderful second seeds for their respective regions want to have that third title. They want to be the winners. Now, if you do it from the upper bracket, you're feeling yourself. It means that you've overcome things like we're witnessing today. But I think that there's also some, you know, I would like for whomever loses today to actually win in the final.
Okay, so you want that lower bracket
Yeah,
run.
love revenge.
Yeah. I mean, this entire game this time around is
It's not going to
about
be very
revenge.
cold. It's not going to be served very cold. It's just going to be a couple of days away, but I love revenge.
It's going to be pretty warm considering the weather here in Brazil. But looking at Revenge Arc specifically from Shopify Rebellion so far, they have been phenomenal. Not just in the couple first games that we've seen, but also that mental ability to bounce back onto that second map after a 13-6 loss and come out swinging. And seeing the discipline as well that this roster have going into the final map, going into Sunset, I am actually worried for G2 Gozen here, Bazooka.
Yeah, and the composition that both teams brought in the first Sunset they played, they're pretty different. Shopify Rebellion was playing with Breach, Omen, Fade. They had a really strong opportunity to get control fast in the map, play A, play B, or even split mid through market and using Breach Thunder. That's very strong. While G2 was used to play with Viper and no Breach, so their idea is to deny information instead of just like gaining really fast formation. So G2, when they attack, they need to play slowly than Shopify. Shopify Rebellion has more brute force composition to just go whatever they want.
Well, that's not been the case. We've actually so far only seen 2 mirror compositions. So with the Prime Gaming Agent Select ready, it's going to be really interesting to see whether or not they stick to, I don't want to say what we're used from them, but at least what we've seen from them in the past and how they'll be able to make these different compositions work and interact with each other. Whenever that does pop up, I think, there we go. It was
No surprises.
okay. No surprises. No. So at least we don't get another mirror comp here.
Okay, and now it's a lot about the game plan for this map.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
exactly.
game
And if you're G2 and you were watching the other day when Shopify was playing against EDG, if I'm not mistaken, there's not much that you can take out of that game because everything was working their way, and you know that if that is just the easy way for them. So if it gets complicated, you're not going to be able to find the response. So I think that we're going to go into this one with both of the teams very focused in making the other team trying to fall into their game. I know that we say it a lot, but whomever gets it first is going to get the win.
Interesting strategy to be looking forward to, especially considering the fact that so far, Shopify Rebellion has been the best team at forcing others into playing their playstyle.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, right now Shopify Rebellion is starting attacking this last map, right? If I'm not wrong, they're starting attack. And the main thing about having the breach on attack and forcing them to play on their side, it's about fast pushes, just win fast.
It's time for our final map of the series. The Revenge Arc is so close, but so is G2's opportunity to hold on to their crown. Let's head over to the final game of today with Vansily and Potter.
Thank you, Janiro, Kakuka, and Bazooka. Going right into it, the third and final map between these two powerhouse teams, G2 and SR. As Shopify Rebellion starts off on the attack against G2's defense, we already see a setup right now of the attack for Shopify, adding a lot of pressure towards this A main, Potter, this BD.
Yeah, all 4 members grouped, just leaving Cypher all alone on the other side. And Bazooka mentioned it, Shopify, they've got an explosive composition here. We've already witnessed it before. Alexis on this breach is looking to tee up Fluorescent on those deep lines. I love this move from G2. If Shopify watched G2's last match, they'll know that they did this in their exact timings. But Petra's getting so deep.
Sarah's running around the corner.
All the timing.
Yeah, had a knife out, wasn't expecting that. That will initiate Shopify Rebellion rushing within the A site. Wall coming up on the defensive side. Trap kill set up as well from Roxy just towards the link. But all of Shopify Rebellion are moving towards the elbow. One way now being set up. The legs are being split. Roxy lands that first shot. There's no vision coming out from Shopify Rebellion towards this A side hit. And unfortunately, they're getting dispatched. Huge advantage now for G2. As the defenders that were flanking across have also moved within the A site.
Not a single piece of utility left on Alexis or Mel. They've just got to hit headshots, and Mel gets taken out. And Alexis just eats that paranoia as well. What a beautiful setup coming through here for G2. Roxy played that round to perfection, absolutely utilizing that one way. But the timing in which Glance refreshed her own smoke right after that cage was beautiful as well. G2, I mean, Bazooka mentioned it, right? There's going to be stark differences in their approaches to this map. One fast-paced, one not.
You see those last kills? Yeah, Roxy was, again, a good anchor for this A-side hold, just like she did on B on Breeze before. A great start for G2. You see the confidence coming out from the coach, and a prime giving flawless on top of that for G2 to really build the economy once again very early. But now at the same time when we're looking at this, though, we have a chance to talk about this composition, the stark differences, but I also want to focus on the role switches from both Fluorescent and from Petra. Right, so while we have this tech pause, let's talk about Petra and G2. When they're playing against Team Liquid, they've seen enough footage right now for Shopify Rebellion because that game went to overtime. What did G2 do a lot on the defense? Controlling and attacking towards the A main. But this time around G2, they're working out towards the middle on that pistol round. So there is slight differences that G2 was like, okay, these things kind of worked against X Team versus Team Liquid. We could switch things around. And we've also seen how Shopify Rebellion kind of played their side too of Sunset. There's ways to counteract that.
Yeah, there definitely are. And, you know, those differences between Breach and a Viper, certainly you're going to feel a lot more of it when you swap sides on the attack. But the defenses is very general. You talked about that A main. Both squads are going to be ride or dying for A main control. For G2 side, they're going to be able to do weird combos like Viper's Molly with Petra's nade, paint shell to do even more damage. Glance with her paranoia out, ready to blind that short little lane as her teammate gets contact. Things like this, a lot of interesting trap setups as Roxy is the lone anchor on the other side. So I think both teams are absolutely going to be contesting this A main. That's what happened.
She glanced down and noticed that the water was spilling, so Glance has to pick that up. But
Glance got it.
There we go. and now, again, looking back at the roles, Petra, she had a slower start as well against Team Liquid on the very first time that we saw her play a duelist on Raze. So hopefully this is going to be a little bit more of that. We've gone through a 3-map series this time around, and there's an opportunity now that she's warmed up, and we'll see a better performance from Petra right here. And thank you for your patience. We're going back within the game. And Shopify Rebellion, with this full classic, the dog's gonna spot them, and the jig is up. The attempt to try to flood within the B site has been denied by that utility.
And Noya is just trying to bide her time. Both players just spotting each other, deciding to fall on back. The only investments coming out here for Shopify's side is that one lone sheriff on the back of Fluorescent. And because the rechargeables, because of this fault line coming up, and Sarah's haunt, there's some combos that Shopify can do to find Fluorescent something here.
At least Fluorescent found the orb first. So Shopify Rebellion are giving their position away, and they don't need utility. Fluorescent just moves forward, gets the pick onto Glance, who is trying to play the off angle by the staircase. There's utility being thrown back here on the defense, just to push him back for a bit. Fluorescent satchel through. Nice flash out from Mimi, allowing the players of G2 to flood back out, and not an opportunity for Shopify to come in for a plant. At least Noya gets a classic duel win against Roxy, but with this upgrade on 2 versus 1, you got to be pristine on your shots if you're Noya.
Pristine indeed. That camera doesn't give too much information.
Yeah, only the shot.
But this is such an expensive round for G2. Last 2 members very healthy, and Noya just barely limping.
An opportunity there to almost catch Sarah 2 off guard. And Noya knows it's a crossfire setup. She's just trying to walk out for the last pick for Shopify. Yeah, sometimes the crowd is there, and G2 we're ready, and Mimi gets the pick, but you've mentioned the damage being done by Shopify. Nice 2-piece out from Fluorescent to kick off the round, and they'll have a much better buy in this round number 3.
Yeah, and if you're Noya, you're absolutely taking those with a classic kill to finish it off with that 3rd as well. So this is tough decisions if you're in the G2 camp side of things. It doesn't look like they want to invest much at all into this round. Now this is a true bonus.
Yeah.
This is a true bonus.
Mid pressure out for G2. A push out towards the tiles as it gets denied right away by Fluorescent. So they were reading that for Shopify.
Trying to tee up Glance for an early opening pick. Noya has a lot of ground, and this timing that she's able to cross, oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately looking at the wrong angle. Just a little bit too far off, and it was spotted much more early. As the pick comes through for G2, even up the tally. All of Shopify now walking within this A site, but the camera's gonna spot them.
Yeah, and I bet this one way is still up here for Roxy. We saw how critical it was in the pistol round. She's just waiting to play that exact same round out as this trip goes out.
It's the Haunt first, aftershot to push Mimi away, but she's still crossfired with Roxy within the site. Paranoia is going to hit her though, which allows the double swing to take down Roxy, waiting for that cage to dissipate. Now Mimi's in the back of the site, only with a ghost, but gets ghosted here by Sarah. Rotation coming through, and
Nice
the bonus
timing.
was going to be good for G2. Turns out to be a much better buy for Shopify in the end, losing 2 players in the process as they put 1 on the board.
Yeah, and the biggest difference in that round for G2 side was the fact that Glance was the first one to go down, right? When we think about that success on that A site hold for Roxy, right after that cage, that smoke came and procced up. So this time, Roxy doesn't have that much time. And a simple bonus response here for Shopify.
Able to juggle through enough for enough of a buy for Shopify Rebellion. We're juggling around between Mel and Noya, but it turns out that they're going to have full rifles within this round. Haunt being thrown towards the top of middle, pretty much on the top of the clothesline. That will not spot anybody all the way up towards the top of mid.
No pings, no information. A nice double stack here for G2 in the market area. This camera's giving so much information, and with that trip down in B main, both players on G2 can feel very confident about keeping both their crosshairs in the same direction. But Noya, as I say that, she's sniffing around. She wants to take care of these Cypher trips.
Now a flash was heard by Sarah. She's going to throw a Prowler early. Meanwhile, though, for Fluorescent, just breaking that camera, keeping the players out towards this B main. An opportunity for Shopify Rebellion to really work the map now in the mid-rounding call. Look at Noya trying to pinch it across here from the B main while the rest are executing within the market. It's a 2 for 2, but the Showstar picking up all the way from Boba right down towards the market. And Noya made it through. Remember, the trip got broken, so they know that Noya's somewhere within the site. She's pushing all the way through. It's not going to get cleared. And that leaves Sarah alone. Boombot out, spotting her, so they know that Sarah's close on the spawn. Ferrari Satch until now glances swing out. And G2, they shut down round number 4.
Beautiful stuff indeed. There was a chance if Noya was able to find that trip a little bit earlier, that pinch, the fact that they were able to get both clean entries in this market, but Roxy with such a beautiful response and Petra making it here so early with that showstopper completely stopped Shopify's attack there, but yeah, I feel that, Effie's.
Thumbs down. Half buy stingers for Shopify. Camera up on the link. Showstopper available on the attack for Fluorescent. And it looks to be very quick. But moving forward, trying to catch Petra off guard. She was playing just out in the open. Instantly picks her off. We're trying to trade it back. Beautiful utility from the initiators, though, to allow Mel and Sarah to drop the defense on the elbow. And just like that, all the players on the A side who was looking to fight against Shopify just got denied right away. And an opportunity now for Shopify Rebellion to just hold the pacing and work things out, especially when they throw the hat out from Noya. They know that the last 2 players are out. They can just start running in.
Yeah, it's go time. Enough information. Mel has the backup from her teammates and should be able to even plant the spike, get that bonus money on board, and that could have been disaster for Shopify. But the fact that G2 kind of play into Shopify's game there, because Fluorescent died without even getting a single bullet off, right? I was thinking, oh, if Alexis used the fault line instead of that flash first, it could have looked a little bit differently, but man, Shopify, they always have a chance. Both these teams, no matter what the buys are, no matter what the ultimates are looking like, this is certainly a battle of equals, as Kakuka mentioned, but in this third map, it is neck and neck.
Neck and neck, 3-2 lead for G2. Full gun round for both of these teams. A pivotal round for the first half, and Roxy thought that she was going to be able to sneak through towards the door, which now allows the Nightfall to be used by Sarah, opening up the B side, Showstopper to create even more space. Instantly throws the Showstopper just so that she can control towards this triangle formation. Maybe a plant. Or they're going to give that up. They're going to play towards the main instead.
What a shot from Petra! So aware, completely clears that Noya's off angle there, equalizing into a 4v4 retake. All 4 members of Shopify are so grouped here. A lot of post-plant utility at hold here.
That's a nice paranoia that's going to allow Shopify Rebellion to run that clock down a little bit more. There is that utility being thrown on the counter. A haunt being thrown, a spray across. Everybody's sticking it here. Nobody's able to get it. Finally, Alexis pushes forward. And as G2 are trying to push forward towards the B main to try to fight back, everybody's getting sprayed. Now within the 3v1. The rotate that came across towards the market from Fluorescent allowed for Shopify to tie up the game, but that was getting close.
That was getting close. Good moves from Floor to be extra mobile there in the post. And I think that was even Mel's own smoke in that B main that she popped down herself so that they can freely spam through their own. You can see all the pings coming out. But that was explosive, Vans. You know, we talked about in the beginning of the round, the composition that Shopify have. Once those ultimates are in tow, as soon as they had that B main control, Sarah ripped her ult and they were in there. Sure, Fluorescent didn't get the entry with her showstopper that she was looking for, that allowed them to plant the spike, and it's as simple as that. Shopify gonna slow things down again into this one. That 4-1 setup that we've been seeing.
And for G2, it's a 5-0 setup. Roxy close range with a Bucky, 4-player stack.
She loves the Bucky.
Oh, she loves it for sure. I mean, she got some something out of it in the previous maps.
What
and
a
this time
read
around, yeah, it's just a Prowler being thrown first. The read is just, let's try to edge up here and try to find the information towards this B main, and it actually spotted somebody.
Yeah,
so,
and I don't know whose comms came through for Shopify, but again, great read. All members just started booking it back towards this A, and they're choosing right. G2 have no choice but to just kind of push out here. It's going to be a 4-man flank, maybe in 5 if Cypher meets up with them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They break their first trip. Noya still has a second trip and a camera. So as soon as we're going to start hearing a little bit of footsteps from Sarah, that camera should come up and find some information. And Shopify Rebellion adapting onto that one, placing the spike for spawn. A fault line has slowed him down too, coming up from Alexis. And not all Shopify, they're doing it once again. They're playing the pulse plant through Mel's smokes.
Yeah, they want to push through spawn. They don't want to get pinched. Noya goes 1 for 1. Spike is ticking. What a shot.
That's only Noya once again, the only one that's fallen on this pulse plan. As everybody's rotating across, you have aggressive positions from Shopify towards the spawn. Nice little paranoia coming out with the paint shells, slowing down that push, and an attempt of a retake for G2. Yeah, it still works out to be a couple of 1-for-1s on the pulse plant. The TP away, trying to save a weapon. You've done a little bit of damage here, but that economy, it's still quite strong for Shopify.
It is, it is. We'll see if there's some money on the board. Maybe those opening kills that we saw so many of, but just a rifle game once again. And a timeout coming out right in time. G2 have lost the last 3 rounds in a row. They want to have an answer for this big buy. This is an extremely important swing round coming up here in round 8. And as we talked about, Petra has Showstopper. Roxy has her ult, but we'll talk about that one later on in the round. But Glance does have her Omen ult. Now, what we really liked from G2 was that pistol round setup. Roxy with those one-ways at A, and it does seem like Shopify, I don't even know which site they like the most. They keep changing it up.
They did quite well on both sides, because when you talked about those cages, it was instantly learned by Mel. Yes, Roxy did a lot of damage towards this A side, but you remember that re-hit, when he took the elbow control with those stingers from Shopify, the cages came up, they waited for that to drop, and then they were able to go for a full execution right back within the A site. So this timeout is just trying to say, okay, well, Shopify, they're not really just holding W within this map. They're rotating a lot. They're also doing a lot of stop and go. And now it's maybe time for G2 to really try to fight back, be a little bit more proactive on their side, and not give too much map control for Shopify in the beginning.
Yeah, and that's the challenge. That is absolutely the challenge, especially when you're up against a Cypher right now. So many weird angles and weird spots and weird traps that you're always paranoid about.
And as the Bears are about to come up, continuing this 4-1 setup for Shopify Rebellion. They want to try something
Fast
quick.
pace.
Yeah, Paranoia, but Petra just sprays while she's hit by the Paranoia, and Fluorescent falls down. That's one of the plays that they try to do against EDG, and they were reading it perfectly for G2. Now Noya's trying to push forward, and answers right back. It's a 4v4.
That's a huge equalizer. I mean, Petra just had such an easy opening, none of the utility landing on her whatsoever. But the fact that Noya is able to control mid here, this cuts the map completely in half. Roxy is all on her lonesome. No rotators are going to be able to come help her whatsoever.
So it's up to Shopify. What can you read now towards the mid round? You still have Sarah available with a lot of that utility, but it's towards B main. So the 3 players have to work together. The rest of Shopify moving towards the market, where it's a crossfire setup by G2.
Yeah, Sarah's desperately trying to find out where that defender is. Her Prowler doesn't get any, but it doesn't matter. Mel just finds a quick 1-2 entry.
And now there's another player alone on the site, and that's Glance this time around. Holding, anchoring as much as she can. Got 2 for her troubles, and it's up to Roxy alone. That's just unfortunate. I mean, she throws the ult, so she wants to go for this. So Neurotheft getting information right here. The plan's coming across. The head-to-head against Alexis. An opportunity there. But no Cigar once again. And it looks so good, but that flash that was trying to get information out towards the market was unfortunately mistimed there by Mimi. She got punished instantly.
Yeah, she did, and especially with how this round started as well. The fact that that mid player, I believe it was Glance as well, immediately getting wiped out by Noya's Lurk. That's something that G2 are completely aware of. Most of the time this week when we've been watching this map, 3 members are going searching and sniffing towards that mid. So unfortunate for G2, but Shopify, they're consistently having answers here.
Yeah, you talked about how it was such a pivotal round for, I'd like to say, G2 at that point, with the ults that they had and the economy that was quite low with that buy. They're in a half buy right now, while on the other camp, Shopify Rebellion, Mel's been really close to the 9K with Alexis at the same time too, so it had to come down. Yeah, they're balling.
Balling out of control right here. Fluorescent being very cautious, does not want to deal with these one-ways anymore. But this contact play from Shopify gets them a lot of ground, but all of G2 have already rotated.
Sarah still gets the first blood though. A contact towards the link, back by the Radiant boxes, and Noya's looking to move right back. But that wall will give it an opportunity here for G2 to move forward. Paranoia just hit all of them.
All of them. All 5 members catching that one.
Camera not get broken. There's that flash to push through the smoke.
So blind.
The wide swing from Petro and crouches for the headshot onto Noya. Seekers now coming out, doing a lot. Showstopper 2 on top of that. Trying to land that Showstopper, following the Seekers, but we stay alive. The TP away from Mel, back towards the main. Here comes the defuse. It's back at halfway, fully sticking it, but all of Shopify has fallen down. How did that happen? Massacre 50 for G2.
That was insane. The fact that Mel catches everyone with her paranoia, but what was it for? No one was punished at that time. What ifs in that round, Vans? Because if she held on to it when she popped her ult, flanked the diffuser, that could have come in clutch. So smallest of margins once again coming through here, and G2, how did they win that round?
It wasn't really planted for them towards the spawn either, so Noya dropping towards the Arena boxes really doesn't give a chance for Shopify to flood back within the double ultimates that was used by G2. This time though, they want to fight right back. In action, instantly, coming up towards the A main. Oh, Fluorescent! Just spraying with the 360 and still gets the headshot onto Mimi. And instantly for Shopify Rebellion, they don't care that they got thriftied.
They've had enough. They've had enough, fans. Fluorescent wants to spike as well. She's calling for it. She wants her Showstopper online. And the last two members of G2 want none of it. Roxy and Glance are already deciding to save their weapons, and as they should. If they're able to save this, they will have a healthy purchase in the next. Glance will be able to drop one over to Sarah. So it's going to be real important to be able to save these weapons, and you can see that Shopify, they've read exactly that. They don't want to allow that to happen.
I think Noya still had her camera towards the B main, so they know where exactly Shopify are currently holding their angles. It's towards the B main where the ult orb is. Noya trying to trade it right back out, trying to lurk back forward, walking through the smoke. Pinching in is Sarah coming from the top of Boba. Now here comes the first spray to try to set that paranoia, allowing this contact to happen for Sarah to get that pick.
Wow.
And even Noya swings out through the smoke to get the last one to glance in. You're looking at round number 10, round number 11 here. Once again, the economy, you're basically working with scraps.
Yeah, and that was right after Sarah pops her Viper's Pit as well, and that's what egged Fluorescent on, right? You thought, why is she being so extra aggressive? But that was her tell. She didn't want this Viper's Pit to have any play at all whatsoever in that last round. Great response coming through here for Shopify, and they are frustrated on the side of the G2 camp.
Okay, so we're going back with the strategy for G2 to go for half armor buys so they could actually have a healthy buy within the next 2 rounds. Should it still go in favor of Shopify Rebellion?
4 members of Shopify here now. They know that the Cypher's been in this area. They want to find the trips, but as I say that, they're just gonna rip Sarah's ult again. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, Fluorescent has a Showstopper. She's got the sight.
Roxy's still holding within the smoke though, trying to get a timing. Rolling Thunder to try to act back, 1-for-1. And actually the Whirling Thunder just clears out towards the market.
They wanted to give Sarah another kill. The whole time Alexis was waiting in that market area, but Sarah's all alone. Alexis shows up late.
Here's a pushback though, and Noya still on that flank, so Mel has to delay, has the paranoid to delay first. Noya is trying to pull out the knife, back to the weapon, spots the opponent right there towards the market. A little bit too late as Mimi almost caught her on that lurk. So now we have a great 2 versus 1 pitcher walking forward towards the B main, and there's a jiggle peek from Mel. Now they're gonna play the time in their favor for Shopify Rebellion. They're at that tap even. You don't even need the cage to fall down. Noya just landed every single one of those shots. And Shopify are looking really good here on the attack half of Sunset.
They really are. Not only did she land all those shots, Vans, she even had a camera hidden and waiting inside that cage in case she doesn't get the spam. So beautiful response, and Noya's been so successful finding these backlines. This is the first time that Shopify actually is able to make the round look as clean as they do from start to finish, and that really highlights the round for Noya, to be able to find those gaps when Shopify are that successful. But they're switching it up again, Vans.
Yeah, deep flash. Trying to get information to dog out early too, so it's back to the G2 trying to press back towards the A main.
Yeah, that's huge to be able to break Mimi's dog that early on as well. Not able to find or punish off of that. You can see that Glance has that paranoia in tow. As soon as Petra gets any sort of contact, they want to fight.
It's the audio game this time around.
Yeah, they've got an inkling. I mean, Shopify, they've got an inkling. And look at this. G2, they're pushing.
Just the way that they wanted it. They caught some players off guard, actually 3 players off guard. Noya's right there to answer right back. A 1v1 against Mimi, and she's just going to pull back, play the power of numbers, and allow the players to rotate across.
Noya's one off the ultimate here, and I think the orb was still available, but she doesn't want to go for that quite yet. Both members in Shopify deciding instead to stay grouped. They've got the spike in their hands.
It's a 2-1 setup. Camera's going to see enough. Even gets the ping onto Sarah.
30 seconds left.
But Noya's the one that's going to have to make the play. So while Sarah's making noise towards the market, Noya's trying to cut the rotation 1v1 against Sarah right towards the spawn. She hears the footsteps. Oh, I think Sarah just saw her, but Noya didn't. Leaves right back out. There's the hat to throw. There's the information on the last 2. There's only 13 seconds left. Sarah hasn't committed yet towards the A site, so they have to close in right now. It's up to Roxy anchoring the site.
Both players pinching from both directions. Sarah's got to get the spike down, but she gets taken out. There's no time left. Noya unable to get even close to Mimi here. And they're unable to get the spike down. What an effort, though, for Shopify in that last. That was a 2v4 that they almost converted.
So it was so close, and after that kill, but when they threw that hat and they realized, oh crap, there's only 14 seconds left, it almost seems like after that pick, Sarah was looking to rotate back towards the A side for a plant, and that just threw everything for a fumble. So a great job by Roxy to really hold down towards that side, let that clock run down, and keep this game very close. So as much as we want to say that it was one-sided for Shopify Rebellion, this still ends up being a 7-5 half for SR. So let's see what the AD has to say.
It has been blow for blow, round for round from both of these teams. But if anything, we do get the feeling that maybe SR knows this a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that their strat book goes a little bit deeper, and I think that we found a beautiful example here on round 7 because of how they identify everything that is happening and how G2 is playing as a stack in one side of the map and how to react to that. Not only running to the other side, also keep giving a little bit of misinformation onto B, and also running and moving onto CT just to stay one step ahead and actually work in the map. They do feel and they seem more comfortable around it, and I think in the later rounds, especially when the picks get a little bit crazy and the fights get very isolated, you can see that the reps are definitely there.
Yeah, and it may have been an equal round, I guess an equal round, but the reads they had, the understanding of how the other team was playing and how to react that, getting space from where the other team is giving you this space, is that what made Shopify Rebellion better in this first half. They are playing really good. Even with playing from Breach, they're not playing so fast, they're kind of playing a little slow, but they still have faith to get a lot of information and just be explosive with Breach and Omen 2. There were some rounds Petra was able to get some kills in market, even with Breach and Omen playing against, and that's a kind of misuse of utility on Shopify side, but at the same time, they're getting the game.
I think that they're more nervous. Like both the teams, they look more nervous than they were at the beginning of the day. We know what's at stake. This is definitely not the final, but you can tell that there's a lot in the game.
There's a lot on the line for this one. Is the final half of the series. So let's head over to see how the Battle of the Equals will play out.
I do agree with you at the desk for sure. This may not be the grand finals, but an important game for both of these teams. You punched a ticket to the finals, you have map ban advantage, and you definitely want that going into the BO5. And who better than G2 and SR to go head-to-head to give us a taste of potentially the grand finals right here. Pistol round now underway, Shopify on the defense, and G2 looking for control towards middle with an early dog to try to gain more space.
Yeah, and this double controller side for G2, this is going to be a completely different kind of game than what we've been seeing. Early Paranoia trying to get Fluorescent a kill, and that nade is going to do so much, pushing them into Alexis's hands.
But she has utility in her hands, not the pistol, not a weapon.
What
There's
a satchel!
help. What a satchel, but there's still that 2 trade coming back out for Shopify. Mimi trying to hold the ground towards the back, sees that push coming out
The
from
spike.
Shopify. The spike is down towards the top of mid, and it's now G2 that has to run towards against Shopify. The first contact, G2 Mimi is down now to 2 HP. The crossfire, the flank coming across. Rossi gets the first pick. The swing will cross there from Sarah. They're trading right back. There's that push from Sarah too, though. 2 versus 2 somehow. A little dig coming out onto Sarah as well. An opportunity to fight back for G2, and a re-heal on top of that to top off Sarah.
Shopify right now, they have a good idea that Mimi is barely limping. Spike still down.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Might want to give it up. Looks like the smoke is thrown for them to give it up. You're going to hear all of these footsteps, like a Shopify pushing down towards the A-link. They know now the hit's coming towards B, and especially with that door being closed.
Yeah, now that Mimi doesn't get any info with that bird, only 13 seconds. Yeah, they've got to plant the
10
spike now.
seconds left.
You can see that G2, they're still guessing. They're not exactly sure where the rotates are going to be coming from.
Especially when the smoke was thrown towards Boba. It's been multiple times in the pulse plan that Mel's been thrown the smoke so they could actually execute out of that. But they're both walking towards the B main, finally spotted by Sarah, and somehow the tides have turned for G2. Pushing forward, Mel gets a 20 HP onto Sarah. As Mimi's trying to swing back out, still trying to bring up that heal. Sarah's now back at 85, but Mel still connects onto the shot, isolated at 1v1.
10
now Mimi's
seconds.
at 2 HP, 9 seconds left on the smoke, swings towards the right, clears the corner, and lands the headshot. Comes in for the defuse.
And she's going to get it. She's going to get it, Vans. And, you know, her teammates are egging her on there, saying, she's low, get her. And that just allows her to fully swing with her body and get that one. You saw Mimi was doing her damnedest there, too, to keep Sarah alive in that corner.
Come closer.
Doing, yeah,
Come
whatever
closer.
she can in that moment. I would have loved to actually see like a 3-2-1 double swing in that instance, but that smoke really ruined it for G2. What a pistol round, and what a weird way to start. That spike being down in that Archis in mid for the entire duration of the start of that round really put a nail in the coffin, or in plans for G2 there.
It was flanks after flanks and trades, and it ended up having to, you know, in control of Shopify Rebellion at the pistol. They had to come in for the Red Bull clutch from Mel to actually win that one. So that means that G2, they're not out of this yet. Despite the adversity that they're up against, having less power of numbers, they can still definitely fight back. But Noya is doing her own one-way cages, just like her opponent Roxy did towards that A site. She's doing it towards B, and it's not going to allow you. Oh, well, as I say that, though, the B site's starting to open up.
Yeah, Noya got caught off a little bit. She didn't expect Mel to get flanked that fast. Petra is so aggressive right now. They're able to pick up a couple weapons. That's so much damage onto Alexis here. Spike still not planted.
At least Sarah's there. And weapons have been picked up for G2, though. They have a Bulldog and a Spectre. They could work the clock right now in their favor because there's still 50 seconds left on the clock. So just wait and see where the utility's being thrown. Now it calms down for a bit. They now have the opportunity to plant and set up.
Yeah, Shop now before attempting to go into the site. They just want to make sure they're not going to get flanked by some rat. Fault line is out, and that's a go sign.
It was a lineup there, but Sarah gets that pick onto Petra. Bulldog cannot do any damage there. Roxy trying to push forward against Alexis just to land that shot. Now into backstab to half from Sarah to get 3 into the round. So a great pistol, great second round, but the damage has been done for G2. But at this point of the game here, Potter, getting that damage on an eco may not be enough.
It's not, but you know what? You take what you can get, Vans, and those comms are certainly still coming through for sure to kind of reinforce each other that, hey, we did our job. We weren't supposed to win that round anyway. So confidence still building, and especially considering how close this round got, right? I mean, Noya, it looked like she was going to make a movie for herself in the beginning with those one-ways spraying it down, but as soon as she got onto that cam, again, the explosiveness coming out for G2 is exactly what they would have wanted in that eco. So all things considered, that is a great start, especially since you lost that pistol if you're G2.
Which also puts a lower buy for Shopify Rebellion on their bonus. Marshall, 2 Sheriffs, 2 Bulldogs. They're looking to use that range to fight towards the market. Seems to be towards this same main as well. But they're just using utility on both ends here to really slow down the pace of G2, who's trying to swing towards the market. Mel now down to 5 HP. Support from Noya coming across, and Mimi's actually committed here to try to be the entry on the sky, just like she did on her opening game against Team Liquid.
Yeah, bullying Mel off the angle there. Mimi. All 4 members, they're so grouped that Paranoia misses everyone.
That's 2 of them, though. Although it misses everybody, Noya still got 2 kills out of that. An opportunity for Shopify to win another bonus here.
3 versus 4. Glance is going to be able to get the spike down, and because of Sarah's positioning, still the orb and the flank possibility.
Oh, just trying to play around the smoke. They read it for Shopify. They read it. That was beautiful. Big paranoia, though. That's going to hit so many players. 2 kills, but there's that satchel from behind. That's fluorescent to answer right back. Sarah's in a great spot, though, to try to win a 2 versus 1. There's no smokes in the area, and off
What
the
a
tap.
shot.
Oh, my God. Alexis instantly lasers her opponent. And Shopify, they get the bonus now in map 3.
And the start of this was beautiful. I thought, what the heck is Mel doing? Why does she have a Marshall there in market? But the whole time, Alexis was set up. She had arm out, fault line out, and she was ready. She wanted to re-tee up Mel, and she got back on that line. And sure, she didn't get any shots off, but I feel like that kind of egged on G2 to hit that site. So great start here for Shopify, and what a round. What a round.
Which also gave that opportunity for Noya to come out to get those picks, right? So despite not getting kills, it's enough delay and setting up a missed timing for G2 moving within the site, and Noya caught 2 off guard. Big surprise, and the surprise continues. A satchel within the link. Alexis pushing out towards the market to support Fluorescent. And already another player advantage out early for Shopify. A little bit of over-aggression, though, this time. Mimi's able to capitalize right back.
Yeah, Alexis wanted to help out Noya. She thought Noya was in trouble, but gets wiped out, taken out. This ult should give Shopify enough information to set up some sort of defense. You can see that Mel is on her way quickly, but she doesn't have paranoia. All these trips should help, yeah.
Seeker's coming out on the attack. So they're doing the same for G2. Spamming through the smoke. Nightfall coming out. That hits one up towards the staircase. Easy kill from Sarah onto Glance. Spike is now down. Mimi trying to go for their hero play. And as soon as she comes out through the smoke, Mel's right there to greet her. Wow, and yeah, wow indeed. That is a great way to hold the middle and adapt into the mid round.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even really hold the middle, Vans. They went all the way in. You saw Fluorescent satcheling through in that second mid area because of this fade, right? Sarah, you saw her throwing that tether down over the wall, and I think there was even a flash or a fault line coming through for Alexis. Fluorescent only got the 1 kill, but again, they're corralling them to hit the other side. They want G2 to hit the site where Cypher's setup is, right? So they're putting a lot of aggression towards this A, a lot of aggression towards this mid, and saying, hey, you better go take care of our Cypher.
Yeah, and now that they're trying to hit this B side all the time and getting fully denied, if G2 are going to try to work towards this A site, but that's the composition that you currently have here from Shopify. You have so much delay from this fault line. You have great opportunities for a huge retaste off the utility from both the breach and this fade. So you're going to have to really try to use that utility against your opponents first. But the thing is just as you mentioned, SR actually just satcheled right into that, so they don't want to give a chance here for G2 to really work that map against Shopify, and now it forces G2 to use their last timeout.
Yeah, and I think they've got to be discussing exactly what you said, how they're going to respond and slow things down, because even though the Viper's been setting up towards this A with their wall, they haven't been able to work the map at all, and because these rounds are ending in the first 30 seconds. So for the side of Sarah, she needs time. She needs time, and she needs to be able to up her wall, burn some gas, cut noise, and re-go again. So we'll see what G2 do to kind of capitalize off the composition that they picked here. But that single initiator, it does make this A main control a lot more difficult.
Which is why they're opting for this mid a lot here for G2 at the beginning of these rounds. Petra, the one at the B-Link. The dogs coming out towards the market, allowing Petra to get a little bit more information, maybe get a pick here. Fault line once again slows him down. Unfortunately, these shots are not hitting from Mel, but Alexis there at least on the top of mid, spamming through the smoke, answering right back, and that's going to stop G2 in their footing really to try to aggress back into market.
Yeah, instead of quickly rotating Shopify and deciding to just go in and push through A, they're probably going to try to flank this Viper in the post very late. But Noya, she's got to get some here.
And she's playing towards the back of the pillar. Boombot, Aftershock also pushing some players away, and Noya's trying to lean back on the left side of the pillar, gets stopped right away, and I love that G2 have closed the door while they're hitting towards this B site, so they could focus now towards this B main, and they notice the push coming through. They can hold towards the market at the spawn in great positions on the pulse plan, but Fluorescent though, she has a showstopper with utility out from Sarah.
Yeah, and I think at this point, G2 are fully aware where both players are going to be coming from. Yep, there it is, Fade util coming out. That should give all the information G2 need here.
TP away, there's the shots coming out attempted by Fluorescent. But only 1 kill on the attempted retake for Shopify Rebellion. 3 players stay alive and ults that are really good here for G2 as they put 6 in this round.
And that's a saving grace for G2 going into this next one. I think, again, that was one of those rounds where G2 won because Shopify messed up, right? That was another mid-fight between Mel and Alexis. You saw that fault line coming through again in this market area, but the timing was a little bit off. I don't know if that was a miscomm or what exactly happened. And sure, Alexis was able to get that quick trade, but those duels, those fights are just not worth it unless you're able to get one and get out really fast. So Mel's busted out the operator on this Omen now, and instead of that Marshall, instead of that rifle, she wants to keep dueling. She wants to use this breach and find opening picks.
And opening picks are being attempted towards this A main. Fluorescent was peeking forward and sees that Sarah is trying to work that side alone. All of now G2 funneling towards this B side into Dog to try to get some information. So the up try to answer on the Dog towards mid. Showstopper coming out on top of that. It clears it up towards the front. The A side is now, the B side is now open. And even Shopify, they're giving it all the way back towards the spawn. They're going to re-aggress together with Fluorescent Showstopper here.
Yeah, Petra is so aggressive though. I mean, Shopify Rebellion, they've got a good idea that Petra's made it this deep. And that Showstopper that you talked about from Fluorescent should be coming into play here.
Fluorescent's on the top of the market, clearing that first. Here is that opportunity. Fault line now just to try to get a little bit more space. Paint shells on the staircase. The defenders are still too far away from Bubba to support. And it's going to be 3 players running out towards the Bubba with the Rolling Thunder and a Showstopper out from the market. It lands onto Mimi. There's still a player towards the staircase being spammed through the smoke. And Fluorescent gets 4 within the round and put Shopify Rebellion at that mid-series point.
Whoa, I don't know how Alexis got a drill kill, and that's with the drill from Breach getting nerfed. So I don't know if they were blind or what exactly happened, but man, it seemed like every single piece of utility coming through for Shopify landed on target, landed exactly where it needed to. I think I even saw a Viper Molly for some reason at the feet of Mimi there. So some weird stuff coming out in this round. Oh, that's unlucky.
And the Showstopper too, yeah, and there's that Viper, the Molly, just to try to stop Fluorescent. The Fluorescent coming out to play here, 16 kills in this third map, Mel at 17. Again, map and series point for Shopify. While you look at G2's economy, they almost have nothing to work with. 3 Vandals, 2 Sheriffs, and what's going to be the saving grace is to play the information game. Get a kill, use that hat, and try to work the map.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do here. You saw that Petra tried to get a quick opening here at A, but was completely denied. Now for one of the first times since Pistol, I believe, G2 are going to come and challenge towards this A-halls.
Just holding the wall, holding the close angle. Well, that's one of the weapons down indeed. 2 Vandals left. The weapon's too far away to get picked up. Now Sarah's going to pick up the orb at least. That's a pit open. And using the cage to pick up the other weapon, they're going to pivot back towards the A site.
That's right into the lap of Mel, but a missed shot. And she's just going to get wiped out. Alexis's util wasn't near.
That's the hat we wanted, to get the information on only one player playing within the site to close the door, and they have to move out quick now for G2. As the second pick comes through, the push towards the sponge. Petra! 4 in the round!
Oh my, that transfer was insane! I need to see that replay again, please. Petra, 23 kills on her back, already only 2 orbs away from her ultimate. I mean,
and she just used it.
Yeah, listen, hey, that's exactly what you need out of your duelist if you're arching a comeback right there. But man, those shots were clean from Petra.
There it goes.
Fluorescent's trolling there.
9 bullets left to get the last 2.
Insane.
And you know, the question was going into this series, going into this third map.
Oh, look at Mimi.
Will we actually see Petra being a little bit more comfortable playing on Sunset? And I think the answer is definitely yes. So on the top of the scoreboard for G2, Shopify on an eco, a Bulldog in the hands of Sarah, so a half-wide doing whatever they can, using a lot of utility here on both ends. You're stalling now the aggressive push from G2 out towards middle, but they still want to continue.
Yeah, Alexis tried to stall. She was throwing a lot of util, but Petra's feeling good, especially after a round like that. She's consistently hunting right now on that high ground.
They're pivoting back. It's a fake from the market to move up towards the mid, and Sarah's waiting right there, but it's a trade-off right away. So that Bulldog's gone, and there's only Mel at the A site with a Sheriff.
Yeah, she's trying to be a rat right now. Trying to buy a lot of time. G2, they are indecisive. They don't want to make it all the way through. They're just waiting for the rotates.
Oh, this is not good. At least Roxy gets the 2 picks there on the 2 players pushing forward. And Fluorescent's already running across, trying to close the gap with Mel together. Well, Mel's going to hear the footsteps on all three. Position there to land the first shot.
Paranoia.
Also got the dink there onto Glance at 5 HP. Paranoia thrown to slow things down as Fluorescent picks up a Vandal.
And Fluorescent and Mel are going to both meet up here. Mel, you know she's going to be the bait for Fluorescent here. Try to find some picks and, oh, Glance, she leaves Roxy here. 1-for-1 for both players.
The back of the box is playing the contact. The timing on this one is perfect for Roxy so far. There's that first kill. The smoke out and bloomed as Mel is with the Bulldog. Spamming across the barrel of the gun. Roxy's not peeking, so Mel goes for the other end. A 1v1. Oh, almost got caught there. Glance then comes in at 5 HP and still gets the kill to keep G2 in the game.
What a clutch. I cannot believe no one cleared Roxy there in the back of sight. I thought for sure when both players in that post separated that things were gonna just get real dicey, right? I mean, both 1v2s, but unfortunately for Shopify, they don't clear that angle. But what a close half buy here for Shopify. Now, healthy purchase coming into round 21 here. Viper's Pit still in play. And a different setup this time. Mel leaving that market area, gonna go try to reinforce this A defenses, and now it's all the fighters. Fade, Raze, and Breach sticking together, all three. And I like this from Shopify. They're gonna try to highlight and set up Fluorescent on a pedestal here.
Well, the A site's being held passively, so if they stop the push from G2 with no kills, at least it's good enough here to just play the retake within this A site. And off that flash to get some info. Oh, the jiggle.
Yeah, but this kind of round is exactly what G2 wanted, at least for map control. You can see that the Raze and Viper are inching forward on the other side of the map as they get contact towards this B. This is a different look from G2, not one we've seen this half yet.
At least the setup was good for Fluorescent to get the pick. And as you've mentioned, this push back from G2 towards the A site, the camera is just being watched by Noya all the way back towards A. So they're comfortable to play the retake here. There's so much utility to work with. Now after that, pulling the cage up right away. Sprays are coming across. Noya's trying to get a spam kill as a TP comes across, and a pit all the way towards spawn is good here. But Sarah Fluorescent comes in, and with that kill, the Nightfall's available. Fluorescent gets the second one. Showstopper in, looking for the feet of Sarah, and no plan's gonna come through. Shopify Rebellion, despite a slow first map, they've got a confident 2-map win to win the series now and move to the grand finals of the GCC.
And what a dominant fashion they did it in as well. That last round, I thought G2 did enough. I thought finally, after that timeout, after working the map for that entire second half, they figured out exactly the game plan. They figured out how they're gonna win it. But Shopify, they've got a response, and that response is just to shut them down. Send Fluorescent in there, get the showstopper kills, and wipe them all out.
There's their Prime Gaming highlights, as you can see right here. I mean, it's been a nice attempt for G2 as they were taking the attack side and really finding a little bit of comfort now on how they were working that map, but it had to come down with a lot of clutch plays for them to secure these rounds. Overall, though, when it comes down to the macro play of this team, it's been Shopify taking the lead the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if G2 kind of approached their attack side how they did in that last round a little bit earlier in the half, I think they would have been able to dissect the map a little bit better, a little bit earlier on. But it's good to see that either way, especially for Petra, a lot of questions coming in. I mean, she is looking good. Whether it's Jet, whether it's Raze, she's playing her role so damn well.
Yeah, it was a slow start, as I mentioned before, against Team Liquid. Very low on the scoreboard, but ever since that game, Petra has been on the top, very comfortable in that duelist role. And a thumbs up once again for Effie's. Really happy with what they saw. And you also see how they're all happy overall here for Shopify Rebellion and how much that means to them, right? You've looked at this rematch pretty much. You mentioned Cloud9 in that matchup. It was the Cloud9. Exactly. That's the storyline right here. We kind of tied up 1-1 in this matchup going into what was in Berlin that was one-sided there for G2. And now at least you have an opportunity to go even on top of that to the grand finals after defeating the ones that push you down to the lower brackets in G2. So you are definitely happy coming into a new roster right now as well with the latest additions that they got within the team, within Sarah, within Fluorescent, within Noya. they're looking quite strong here to take it all.
So happy, and especially after how that first map went down. I mean, you know some sort of PTSD was coming up, especially for the side of Mel and for the side of Alexis, like, oh no, what is going on? But that mental fortitude, it means a lot. This sort of stage experience, to be able to push through and cross that finish line in a dominant fashion, that builds your confidence, that builds your team synergy, and that bond that you're making up there together with your teammates on stage, that's gonna come, and it's gonna come into play in that grand finals for sure.
And at least for G2, of course, the run's not over yet. They moved down to the lower bracket here into the lower finals, but they still have some big opponents they might go up against. We have SMG, we have Team Liquid. That could be the dark horses going through right there, so it's not really over yet for G2, but this is also not unfamiliar territory for G2 at all. So they'll have a chance to recollect, to breathe, to figure out what went wrong against Shopify Rebellion and come back with fury, with vengeance. You know that Carcass will be working around the clock, but at least for now, it's still Shopify taking over the series against G2, moving into the grand finals. So let's toss it down now to the stage for the Horizon post-match interview with Ba and Alexis.
Estamos aqui agora com a Alexis da Shopify Rebellion, depois dessa jogada incrível. Elas que viraram o jogo e agora estão na grande final. Hello everyone, I'm here with Alexis from Shopify Rebellion. So, you're in the finals. How are you feeling right now? How does it feel?
It feels really good. Haven't been here before, so hoping we can win it all now.
Eu perguntei pra ela como que ela tá se sentindo agora, que ela tá na grande final, e ela falou que soa simplesmente maravilhoso estar aqui mais uma vez, né? Elas que também arrasaram no ano passado a organização. And I really want to know, this was the match, everyone was really expecting for it, but I really want to know what happened on Breeze.
I'm just going to attribute to the fact that Petra had a really good game. I'm not going to say a life game, but a really good game. And she was just picking us off one by one. We were a little bit rusty, and then going into next map, we knew that we just had to reset and we would be fine.
Ok, thank you. Eu perguntei pra ela o que aconteceu na Breeze, né? E ela falou, olha, eu tô aqui colocando 100% a culpa na Petra, porque ela simplesmente arrasou. E elas, realmente, as minas da Shopify Rebellion estavam um pouco ali, né? Dificuldade na Breeze, mas no final deu tudo certo, porque no segundo mapa elas chegaram com tudo. And who do you wanna face in the finals?
I want a 2-0, G2 rematch, 3-0, let's do it.
Ok, cool. Eu perguntei pra ela o que ela quer enfrentar nessa grande final e ela falou que elas querem novamente uma revanche contra a G2. And finally, but not least, would you like to send a message to probably your next opponent?
Let's have a good game.
Ok. E foi isso, gente. Eu perguntei pra ela se ela tinha aí uma mensagem pro pessoal. Ela falou, vamos ter uma boa jogatina. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the lovely interview. Let's have a good game, but I also think we should really break down this incredible game because coming into this after that first half, you said it yourself, it felt like Shopify Rebellion was more familiar with this map. They had more set plays, and it really showed when G2 started struggling a little bit more.
Yeah, they had a protocol set. They were following the protocol, then it was working for them. There was some rounds, Fade was getting some really good informations, and I want to point out Chinoy as well. She played really good. There was two specific gun rounds that were really important for them, that she was just able to get the right lurking time, just won them the round and forced the G2 into an economic round next round. So Noy played really good this game as well. Even if she didn't got so many highlights, she was very important for the result.
President Noya.
Yeah, exactly. We were seeing it in the signs, but yeah, I completely agree. Especially, when we got to Shopify Rebellion's defense, you can definitely see that they're more comfortable in what they're doing. They know exactly when they give space, how much, and for how long they have to give it. And also, those protocols apply to those retakes. They were able to be successful with it, and in so many occasions, G2 was not finding success in leaving that spike down once it was down.
A couple of misplays as well here and there, and I think there's no need to highlight them, but I do think it further emphasizes how Nerves also played a huge part in this. We're looking at Petra though coming out on top when it comes to her own team, and I think she has, I know Alexis didn't want to say it during the interview, but like maybe the series of a lifetime?
I mean,
Or at least
I'm not
very
gonna say it
close.
because I think that we have seen so many versions of Petra and they have all been amazing. I think that during this year when she was the IGL and she was like lurking every round last year, Petra's always Petra and she's always delivering. Maybe my eyes go a little bit more towards Sarah, G2 Sarah, because she was not having a very good game today and probably she was the one with the the least experience and who was more affected by what Shopify was doing onto them because it was just beautiful in so many instances.
Yeah, Petra, like, she on Breeze. It was her map.
It was.
And now notice, even losing the map, she played amazing as well. I think Petra is definitely one of the best players in the world right now. On the role as duelist.
Yeah.
And it's a new role for her.
I mean, if you were to make an All-Stars, you could put Petra in every slot.
Sounds about right. But I think as well, this time around, it's Shopify Rebellion's world, and we're living in it because they have done incredibly well and secured themselves a spot in the final. But the thing is, what is revenge without a title?
I mean, I think it's funny because last year Shopify Rebellion did get to the final, but it wasn't this roster. It was actually C91, and we heard Alexis talk about it, being like, finally, we're in the final. And the only thing more scary about this Shopify that now has lost a map, performed a comeback, have the mind calmness to just get over all of this. Now they're gonna get 2 bans.
Exactly. And that's a huge advantage.
Bad Breeze.
Yeah. Ban Breeze and whatever you want to ban, it's fine.
They have been banning Split the whole tournament.
Split.
So they're gonna ban Split, ban Breeze, and
I think it depends on the opponent.
all the rest are good.
I mean, they can.
It can be anyone. It can be SMG, who's playing Team Liquid as well tomorrow, and the winner of that is going to be heading up against G2 Gozen. But it also means that, again, Shopify are just going to be sitting there at home, feet on the table, looking at what your opponent is doing and trying to come up with even deeper strat books, because what we've just seen from them here has been incredible, and I don't think this is everything.
I think that, I mean, if I'm there, I'm probably giving them the day off to relax. I think having time off is also very important when you can, It's
Absolutely.
not like, but of course they're going to be watching the games, but I think that they've earned it.
Yeah, they have earned it indeed. It has been one of the most dominant performances we have seen so far. So thank you everyone for tuning in. That's it from us for today. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place, and enjoy the Prime Gaming post-day highlights. Have a good night.
They do not want their journeys to end here. But this is elimination. Crew, they've avoided elimination already. But for Team SMG, they just lost, so they got to dig a little bit deeper.
Are you expecting this position up in ledge? The first falls, the second does too. An upgrade of the weapon as Shirazi continues to farm.
Oh
4
my.
on the round.
That's the second 4K in a row for Shirazi.
Crew understanding they're going to have to fight into some of this aggression, and Kamiyu lights up the kill feed. She's on the board. 3 kills on the round.
Crew so obviously not ready for this aggressive SMG that we're seeing, and this is the SMG that we saw on the first day that we really, really like.
And just Kinnear left on site. That's going to be a lot to hold on her own. Rami playing over there. Kinnear getting the first, not able to get the second, but there she was. Almost had the shot. 13-3, absolute dominance in favor of SMG. Not concerned about the fact that they're facing elimination. Not concerned that they only ran 1 duelist. The results are the same. They've got the satchels, they've got a nade. You've got so many things to deal with. And Eric getting the first. Michaela 4 on the round as they tie us up early. Is that enough to manipulate things really hard? No, Alexi goes exploring. Alexi finds 2. Shirazi alleviating pressure on the opposite side of the map as well. And that results in a Prime Gaming flawless.
Yeah. So good, but Camille actually getting picked off, even though she still had Molly's and Kohabi and Neri left in a 2v1, make that a 1v1.
7 DHP, she's got to go fast. She's got to go so freaking fast. And Neri's there to greet her. SMG survive!
That was so well played by SMG. Super back and forth. All of these rounds were somewhat close, but again, after an amazing dominant performance in that first map, SMG ending on top.
A matchup you wouldn't believe is in the lower bracket. This could have been our grand final, and we are seeing this right now as our elimination match for this day. What is going on here?
Team Liquid just taking their time. Bizarra will contend with the first, and they've made sure to stay in control of this one. Not a player dropped.
Really giving anything, is just going to swing off of Vanya's contact. There she is, and she's so good with it.
Another flash connecting, but Isa finding shots, and Daiki lighting up the feed too. They have shut this down. Team Liquid, 13-8, take map number 1. Smoke fading, 2 on the other side, finds both shots! How the hell did she do that?
Gina, though, all the way down long while they flood into the site. Bizarra finds 3. The kills are there. It's a 4K for Bizarra, and Daiki finishes the job.
Vivial doesn't even have to commit off this. The trade is instant. They know that more players are lurking on this site. BBL, double digits here on Haven. Bizarra isn't stunned. Bizarra is fighting, and she's got 2. Last one standing. Philippa is down. Team Liquid, this is their home. The lower bracket is their place. They keep the run going.
Breeze, Ascent, and Sunset. The battle is set. I mean, first one.
It's unreal. As you're saying, the first of the tournament, we were talking about literally every single team preferring Sunset over Breeze. We have the chance of seeing both of them in this best of 3.
The wall's down, beautiful flash, 1-for-1, but Roxy turns around. And that could have been a great round for Shopify, but Roxy continues to be really good in the clutch. Sarah, too, just around the corner. They can't take her down. That's Glance and Roxy. G2, a dominant first map in their favor as they take it 13-6 on Breeze.
Save your tears, it'll be okay.
A firing range, a firing squad. The better weapons come out on top.
Those classics did so much work, man.
That's why you're seeing her play more passively this time, but a pick coming out from Fluorescent. Hunter out for the defense. No pings. Lockdown also being used immediately, and finally we get the pick at the Fluorescent, but not until she gets 3 kills within the round.
G2, they've invested because they have to. That scoreline is just way too one-sided. They don't want to give match point.
It works out, but then Sarah's on the top with an Ares. Shopify Rebellion get a dominant second map, winning 13-3. Beautiful utility from the initiators, though, to allow Mel and Sarah to drop the defense on the elbow. All the players on the A side just got denied right away.
Bro, stingers!
Her Prowler doesn't get any, but it doesn't matter. Mel just finds a quick 1-2 entry.
They can still definitely fight back, but Noya's doing her own one-way cages. Sarah gets that pick onto Petra. The half from Sarah to get 3 into the round. Shopify Rebellion, despite a slow first map, they've got a confident 2-map win to win the series now and move to the grand finals of the GCC.
And what a dominant fashion they did it in as well.